spicy vodka. I don't know about that one, but I think it's pretty cool. Some interesting takes and things here. I mean,
protein bars. 330 calories per bar, which is literally like a McChicken. 18 grams of sugar, 12 added sugars. This will get you obese overnight if you eat enough of these.
I find it quite ironic actually, right? Is that I've seen some protein bars which have more carbohydrates and fats in it than actual protein. Because, you know, to get that, I mean, think about it. If you have a protein powder, which is mostly protein, it's going to be dry and bland. So they need to have something that's can like dissolve in your mouth and it's palatable, right? So you can actually enjoy eating it. But to do that, you mostly need to add some sugar and or some fat. So it's not all that often that you'd get a protein bar that is more than, let's say, even 40% protein. So that's why I do somewhat agree with this, that some of these health bars, even fitness bars, I'm absolutely shocked that if you're looking at the amount of sugar that it has, it's somewhat close to the protein. So, you know, if you're looking for a protein bar for the sake of being a protein bar, you know, you've got to be careful, because if you're after the protein, much rather have some, let's say, some dried meats, you know, nuts might even be a better option, even though it's not that high in protein because it's got some other healthy fats in it. So the thing is, there's so many other ways to get your protein in, even a protein shake itself. But for convenience, a bar can work, but not exactly super high in protein. Okay, so the next video we got here is I calculated how much sugar average Americans eat every month. It's a lot apparently. So let's have a look.
Today, I'm calculating how much sugar the average American eats every month. It is so much. Let's start with breakfast and the most common cereal brand in America, Cheerios.
One large bowl of Honey Nut Cheerios is about 36 grams of sugar.
So obviously, I mean, very clever, went for the high, probably the Cheerios cereal that has the highest amount of sugar.
This equals over 1,000 grams per month,
which, side note, is already pushing what we should eat total per month.
Next is lunch. On average, 1 in 3 Americans eat fast food every day.
Did I read that right? 1 in 3 Americans eat fast food every single day. My goodness.
The soda alone has 70.
Yes, and of course now if I'm looking at that size of that bottle, that's pretty big. So 77 grams of sugar just in one of those, like, you know, it's like cartons. But what's fascinating is that if you're looking at 77 grams of sugar, I mean, if you look at the equivalent amount of grams that is that a slice of bread has 15 grams of 15 grams of carbohydrates. So if you're looking at 77, I mean, what is that, like 7, right? 3, 6, no, 5. I mean, it's 5 slices of bread worth of energy that you're just getting in liquid form alone. That's excluding the burger bun, that's excluding the chips, that's just from that soda. That's pretty crazy.
Now, let's say you snack in between meals, which 90% of America does. This is 31 grams.
That's interesting because it says they 90% of America snack, but it doesn't necessarily say what they snack on. So I mean, it could, for all we know, be, you know, yogurt and nuts, but obviously chosen the, you know, one of the most naughtiest, let's say, treats. So just want to take that with a pinch of salt, but let's check, or a pinch of sugar. But let's have a look.
That's about 900 if you eat candy every day. The most common dinners are typically not that high in sugar, but over half of Americans eat dessert several times per week.
2 scoops of ice cream totals about 50 grams of sugar.
Or another 600 grams a month.
What do you think about this?
Goodness, 3.5 kilograms of sugar. That is quite a lot. But I mean, I must say, I mean, the biggest thing that stood out for me here is that, I mean, if you're just looking at the portion sizes, I mean, just that cup from McDonald's, my goodness, that is a massive amount. So I think it's, you know, sugar itself, right? Remember, 15 grams of, like, I want to go back to the example of the bread, right? 15 grams of carbohydrates is in bread. But if you're looking at, let's say, you know, 3 to 3.5 teaspoons of sugar, so it's about 4 grams per teaspoon, is that you're looking at, I mean, it's also 15 grams of sugar is the same amount of calories as 15 grams of carbohydrates. But the thing is, let's say for lunch, instead of the, 5 slices of bread, which you're technically drinking, again, nothing really wrong with bread, but now having that amount of sugar just alone, it just goes in and out your stomach. But if you were to have 5 slices of bread, you would be super full. So yes, I mean, getting in a lot of calories from your sugar, high portion, it's much easier to be in a very big calorie surplus and gain weight. So that's quite a crazy amount of sugar that is getting in. Let us have a look, right? So apparently, so this video, so 100 years of school lunch, what it looks like. So it's probably going to be from 100 years ago to now. Let's now see the differences, apparently.
First up, 1930s. Cottage cheese sandwich. Nothing sounds worse than that. Bowl of wheat chowder. Milk. Oatmeal cookie. It's actually not that bad. Wow. Man, they were eating like poor men in the 1930s. God damn.
1960. Apple. Apples are so good. Toast. They got eggs for some reason. I ain't complaining, man. I love eggs. Banana. Orange juice.
1980s. Pizza, chicken nuggets, fruit cocktail, pudding, and some Capri Sun. I feel like they serve this to this day, actually. It's kind of a lot of food. Ugh.
Present day school lunch. This source came straight into my DMs. One of my followers in Alabama sent me a picture of their school lunch. I don't even know what that is or how to replicate that. I just tried to find the most disgusting thing I could find at the grocery store. This is the worst school lunch of all time.
Wow, okay, that's quite a bit. I've never heard of cottage cheese sandwiches, right, being given at school. So I mean, of course, I think this is more based in America, but wow. You can clearly see, I mean, one of the big things that stands out over here is the level of processedness, right, we could say, is that, I mean, if you're looking at the beginning there, I mean, you've got some whole wheat bread, you've got some cottage cheese, you've got some fruit. So, quite minimally processed. But if you're looking at the end there, I mean, the gravy, because a lot of times it's gravy very high in salt, so that rice didn't look too appetizing, but I think one of the big things that we're just seeing here, almost think from a business standpoint, is that protein is getting quite expensive, right? So the thing is that they probably want to give protein as cheap as possible, and to get that, it's normally going to be your cheaper proteins, but that might be a bit more processed because they have to buy in bulk so that it doesn't go off. So naturally, I can understand it's less protein, less vegetables, less fiber. It's higher in starch, which is not, starch is not, definitely has its place. But I mean, as well, the juices, again, I just think from a, practical standpoint, it might just be easier for them to do it now. But yeah, definitely you can see, if you're looking at this video, how almost the fiber and the protein and kind of like the wholeness, like the fiber of the meals is definitely dropped over time. Okay, guys, so now we're going to be watching a few more shorts. So let's see here. So it says the title, When Diet Culture Runs in the Family. Okay, so I'm just going to read here. So when you show up to your family get-together and realize where your disordered eating came from. Okay, this should be interesting. Let's watch.
Carol is so lucky she doesn't take after our side of the family. She is all limbs. Sorry you got the short end of the stick, sweetie.
Wow.
We better put these down. Oh, you just came from Timothy's family's get-together. And I see you're eating again. Hey, Judy, are these low carb? Oh, you don't really want this whole slice now, do you? Whenever I want something fattening, I just take a tiny taste. Your cousin Katie lost the baby weight like that after she had little Sandrine. Maybe she has some tips for you. I've eaten the same thing every day for 60 years. Works for me.
That's bad.
When the new year comes, I'll start being good. Nothing with gluten, sugar, dairy, fat, or carbs, am I right? Or taste, for that matter. Oh, sweet heavens. Now get me out of here.
Wow, okay. This is so interesting, right? Because I work with a lot of eating disorders, right? So, I'd say there's two massive things that I find in my consultations with eating disorders, and I'm very open with it in my sessions, is that we always try and find out, often if you're looking at binge eating disorder, if you're looking at bulimia, all these aspects, there's normally a trigger, right? Because if you think about it, some people won't wake up and then, just woken up and they're having, let's say their morning water. They're like, you know what I'm going to do today? I'm going to binge. So the thing is that often, I'm going to use just one example. So someone can have a breakfast, they're fine. They go and have a lunch, they're fine. But then something happens, right? In the afternoon, it might be a tough day. Someone says something, or they feel like, they go to the gym and they don't feel great. And often, that's just some examples, but there's normally a trigger, right? So the trigger is normally the thing that we try and find. So we find, is it a person? Is it a thing? Is it an environment? Is it, what is it? So normally there's a trigger, and normally I would say just saying, let's say it's 80% of the time that the feeling that comes up, which is the trigger for this disordered eating, I find is guilt. Right? I feel guilty about eating. I feel guilty about almost shame, right? Guilt and shame. And I even heard someone else the other day, something disgust, right? is that it's, I shouldn't be having this. And then normally it's a whole spiral that happens. We can apply it to anorexia, bulimia, the nervosa side of it, and then as well the binge eating side. And that normally what we want to try and find is a healthy environment, so having healthy food, healthy supportive ways of eating, and then as well just preventing those triggers. And my goodness, if I looked at, as I was watching this, I was just thinking triggers. And that's what we would then do in our sessions, is one of the aspects we'd look at is what are your triggers, how to prevent it, and if you do hit a trigger, what is there not maybe a better way of going about it? And that's normally how we go on a healthy way on your relationship with food and yourself. What people think I say when I eat healthy. Okay, so broccoli, chicken, salad, okay, oats, right?
And a little bit of spice.
Okay. Love it. Good variety. I love that. That's awesome. What I love about this from a positivity standpoint is a lot of people, how often have you heard of, I've seen this a lot in my practice, is that people would come to my practice and be like, Jason, last night we went out, we did a sushi buffet, we had pizza. Before I came here, we had 2 Big Mac flurries, because the thing is, you almost feel like a diet is going to be so restrictive. It means as soon as you feel restricted in a diet, then that's normally something that's not going to be sustainable for you. So what I love about that, I love the parts in there. It's that breakfast. How nice does that breakfast look, right? Having good, healthy, when you think diets, a lot of people think like dry salad and no sauce. If you just get the right type of sauce in there, if you get like, let's say, low calorie, a vinaigrette, and you look at like a tomato and onion mix, is that there's a great ways to still make your food taste flavorful. Did you see the variety in there? I love the colors there. So if you're looking at the salad, the variety of fiber in there, it looked absolutely delicious. So I must say, from a positivity standpoint, I think that this is amazing. That it just goes to show that it doesn't need to suck, right? Because again, it sounds simple, but the best diet in the world is the one you can stick to. And if you always feel like you're restrictive, it makes you, have guilt about yourself, then that's really not a long-term way for you to be going to looking at your health long term. So I love this. So well done to her. All right, next video we got over here is I ate TikTok food trends for the whole day. This should be interesting.
Eat TikTok food trends for the whole day? Let's get cooking.
Wait, what on earth is that? Okay, eggs. It looks like a pesto. Okay, all right. Let's have a look. Pesto eggs, I was right, okay. Seems quite lacquer, all right. That baking powder, flour. Wow. Cloud bread, that looked quite interesting. And snack 1, that's quite interesting. So is there gonna be more snacks? Okay, lots of onions, garlic. Oh, this looks delicious. Looks like some milk or cream. Okay, some cheese, some pasta. Spicy vodka pasta. Okay, I'm not going to be recommending that anyone has anything alcohol. And then before 12 o'clock note, it's in this. Okay, the spicy pasta, love it. The vodka part, I'm not so sure. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, is that coffee? Whipped coffee? That looks fine. That looks delicious. All right, that was quite interesting. I must say, basil, eggs for breakfast, fantastic. The cloud bread looked quite interesting. I couldn't really see all the ingredients there. But the thing is the spicy vodka. I don't know about that one, but I think it's pretty cool. Some interesting takes and things here. Whipped coffee, why not? If you're going to enjoy coffee, whip it up, add some ice in there, put a bit of vanilla essence in. Why not enjoy some good spices? No, I think that's pretty cool. Oh my goodness. Okay, this look at this thumbnail. Okay. Welcome to the stomach. I've never seen anything like this before. Where did he get these costumes, right? This guy's dedicated. He must have been like, okay, listen, I'm going to go all out. I'm going to go to the costume shop and wow. Okay, so let's see what this says.
Sorry, we're completely full, I'm afraid.
Okay, disco. All right, so you've got some pizza in the background. Again, guys, where do you get these costumes anyhow? That's
Right.
what I'm
But
interested
I
in.
was told there was definitely space for me. Who told you that? The brain. Oh,
The second stomach. Aha,
for
let's have a look.
goodness sake. Can't I just squeeze it? Look, mate, it's been a big night. One more and it's a health hazard. But I'm only little. It's a no can do, I'm afraid. Well, what am I supposed to do? Well, you'll have to go back the way you came. Fine. So unfair.
All the beers.
Hold on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah? Are you a dessert? Yeah. I'm a cupcake. Oh, well, right this way, sir.
Oh, VIP. There's always space for that second time. I just love how the cupcake goes in with the beers. Are like, no. It's just like, cupcake will come in. I don't know. Obviously, the beers need to go the other way out then, if you're reading out this. But, yeah, guys, there's always space for, for dessert. Oh, guys, this was next level. Wow, that's one thing I won't do, guys. You'll get information from this channel, but I'm not going to get dressed up in cupcakes and pizza clothes. But this was great. So something interesting I also want to share about this, right, is that, they said there's the second stomach, there's always space. But I want you to have the analogy of when your stomach is literally, if you think about it, almost like a balloon. So for interest, when you wake up, your stomach itself is only about the size of your fist. So it's not really that big, but the stomach can definitely stretch. I mean, if you're looking at, let's say if you're having, some chicken breast and you're having some rice and salad, all those good things, it's definitely more than the size of your fist. So the stomach can stretch, which is a good thing. Because for interest, once now you've had a good filling meal, so not something like, let's say, some juice that will just go in and out. You've had some good fiber, some good protein, the stomach stretches. And what happens there actually is with there's actually certain, nerves in there that as it stretches, it sends signals to the brain. And then after about 15-20 minutes, your ghrelin, which is your hunger hormone, goes down. And leptin, which is your full hormone, so to say, or makes you feel full, goes up. And your stomach you'll actually stay, let's say, less hungry and more full as long as the stomach is stretched. Okay, so the thing is, that's why normally a high fiber, high protein diet is quite beneficial, because then the stomach stays in your stomach quite long. The stomach stays in your stomach. Wow. That second stomach we spoke about, but rather the food stays in your stomach for longer. And then what happens there is that you keep fuller for longer. So that's why these diets of like 6 almonds and like 1 egg just really don't last. You're really going to be so tired and hungry with that. But the other thing is that, normally with dessert, we can normally fit a little bit more in because you're not having too much and it can sneak its way in. But if you were to have those beers, right, at the back, again, a super impressive costume there, is that would make the stomach stretch more because it's quite a lot of volume and it's carbonated, right? So there's more gas. But now the stomach is like a balloon, right? So it stretches, but eventually it reaches a tension, right, that is like too high. It literally can't stretch anymore unless it ruptures, which is not ideal. So the thing is that now the stomach wants to come back, right, like an elastic band. So either it's got to go down or it's got to go up, right? And that sphincter is basically the part that holds the food in the stomach so it doesn't come up or go through to the small intestine until the food's been digested. That bottom sphincter, right, is much stronger than the one on the top. So if you've had too much to eat, too much to drink, then, guys, it's got to go 2 ways. It's most likely going to go. Because the interesting ending here, I'm just saying, is that the cupcake could go in, but the beer is still waiting. So that dessert might end up going out anyway, depending on how many beers, apparently 3 beers. So yeah, guys, that's the second stomach for you. It's a scientific thing. Guys, this was a journey. I really enjoyed it. If you guys have any other videos for me, please in the comment section send me a link and I'd love to review it next time. Until then, cheers.